Yes. All right. We are live on YouTube. Good day, everyone. There's a dude that's riding this lifter, and it just makes a lot of noise just to make sure you see it so you don't run into it or it doesn't run into you. It's just really freaking distracting. Anyway, how are you folks doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Today is just one of those days where some very important, crucial things. Give me a second here. Some very important, crucial things are just not functioning properly. Things that are out of your control. I'm going to just start off by sharing with you folks what's really set back my day and probably will set back my content for a day or so. My fiber line has been having intermittent connectivity issues as of probably 11 o'clock Pacific time, 11 a.m. Pacific time this morning. It's not totally out, but it's intermittent. And when you have fiber, you have this little panel in your place that they install. It's called an ONT, which stands for Optical Network something. I can't remember what it is. Basically, a fiber line is an optical connection. It's the cleanest connection you can get that has virtually zero interference and zero limitations to the amount of speed you can receive in both directions on the upstream and the downstream. And fiber lines, work off of optical light. It's basically light that travels through the fiber line from the internet service provider, which in my case is AT&T, and an area, what do they call it? What the hell is it called? It's the junction box. It's the remote terminal. Each area has what's called the remote terminal. So there's always like a head end station for every company, every phone/internet company, and then they have like junction boxes in each like area of that particular city. Give me a second. There are some people taking pictures here, and I want to get by. Okay, thank you. So there was a guy taking some pictures of his woman alongside the bridge here to get onto the trail. Anyway, so basically, just to make a long story short, what I think happened, this has happened like once before. I've had fiber for like almost 3 years now, and it very rarely, if ever, goes out. But when they're installing fiber at another location nearby mine, sometimes the technicians will cross the wires at the junction box or the remote terminal in that area, and it just screws with your internet connection. So with that being said, I got a service call for tomorrow afternoon. They gave you this window between 12 and 4, right? And a lot of times they don't show up until an hour after the window ends. I hope they get there a lot sooner because I need my fiber line working properly. Like, there are so many things that can affect a business owner throughout the days, but your internet connection, your home internet connection is crucial, especially if you're creating content. And with my fiber line not working properly, it does slow down my productivity, and also it's not going to allow me to live stream from the studio. Tonight I was going to do a live stream with my lady, and we were going to talk about the importance of family and, you know, real life friends and true friends. But we're going to have to push that back until tomorrow. Unless something miraculous happens and the fiber line fixes itself. I mean, in some cases, when this has happened before, it'll just fix itself once a technician in the area, you know, is done installing fiber at another place nearby, and then the line will just settle. But I've never had issues this long with my fiber line in the past, so I'm thinking there could be another issue somewhere. It's not at my place, it's somewhere on AT&T's end along the way. So I'm not going to even risk trying to do a live stream from the studio tonight. Just going to take the night off and relax and try again tomorrow. That's all you can do, folks. Shit happens, you know. Shit happens. And when this happens, you just don't get upset. You don't let it get to you. Yeah, it sets you back a little bit, but there's always tomorrow, and I look forward to tomorrow. And I'm here live from mobile. You know, these cell towers are working fine, so you know, if I need to do another stream tonight, I could always do it from mobile. And even on my other channel, which has had over 1,000 subscribers for many weeks now, I'm sure by now I have the full-blown version of mobile live streams. If I need to do a live stream from mobile from my couch later tonight on Coach Eli 2 Uncensored live streams, I could do that and run it off the cell tower. Fortunately for me, you know, I've got the unlimited package from AT&T, unlimited 5G with no data caps and no speed reductions. So it's a pretty good plan, pretty good backup plan. I could even use that to stream to my TV if I need to, because I like to stream stuff. Typically that will come off my fiber line, but for tonight, it's going to be all 5G, baby. You see how dependent we are on this internet? Anyway, let's check out and see who's in the chat. Good afternoon, all. Says respectfully, maturely, and professionally. That was at 3:35. I didn't start till about 10 minutes after that or so I don't know if you're still around, babe. But if you are, welcome to the show. Hopefully you heard that we're not going to be able to stream from the studio tonight. And California Forward Outdoors, thank you so much for being here. The interview with California Forward Outdoors that was going to happen today has been postponed, and we will reschedule it during a time that works for her and for me. And I'll be sharing a lot more about you know, scheduling things with people, scheduling interviews with people, stuff like that, as part of today's topic. We'll get to that in just a little bit here. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, still here. Well, thank you for being here, babe. I greatly appreciate it. So, yeah, besides that, all has been very quiet on the Western Front, and been feeling just very relaxed lately, and been living a very stress-free and drama-free life. And you know, I will put out this statement here. You know, I know, you know, everyone knows this. I know when you talk about drama stuff and you create drama, especially out here on YouTube, you get 2 to 3 times the traction. So I understand that my numbers have gone down, and they may end up going down a little further before they rebuild. And that's okay. I am totally at peace with that. I understand that, and I've expected that. And like I've said before, I'll say it again. I'd rather have 2 or 3 people here that truly enjoy my content and benefit from my content and respect my content than having 30 people here and 27 of them are just trolling or hating or looking to project or something like that. And that's the way you should look at it too if you are looking to create a non-drama channel out here on YouTube, a more positive, fulfilling type of channel that's going to benefit people in some way, shape, or form, whether it be a how-to channel, how to do something, how to fix something, right? Maybe it's a fitness channel. Maybe you're an inspirational channel, kind of like mine. I'm more of an inspirational / personal development type of channel. Or maybe you're a real true entertainment channel. Some people may say that, drama channels are a form of entertainment. Maybe you can look at it in that way. I don't consider drama as a form of entertainment. Although many people get their fix off of drama content. But the truth of the matter is the reason why many people get their fix off of drama content and seeing other people getting bashed and belittled and shit like that is because they themselves have gone through or are going through the same types of things, and people can relate to that type of behavior. So knowing that other people are being attacked and harassed and stuff like that makes these people that follow this type of content feel better about themselves because they themselves have also gone through that. And so I don't consider that a form of entertainment. I don't consider drama content, drama attacking and hateful type of content on YouTube. I don't consider that entertaining. I consider that something people use like a baby would use a pacifier. And it's pretty sad, And maybe one day, some of these people will realize how much they're wasting their time consuming this content and will come over here to my neck of the woods or follow some other coach that they like that can help inspire them to turn their life around. And that way they can learn to love themselves more and see themselves as more of a positive person than a negative person. You know what I mean? Traffic on the 101 is back to normal. Excuse me. Sorry about that, folks. I cannot mute when I'm on mobile. It's that time of year, like I've been saying, it's allergy season. It is allergy season. Yeah, I feel it, I'll tell you that. But nothing stops me from these walks. Come rain, come shine, whether it's low pollen or high pollen, it doesn't matter. Get out here. I get out here, if not each and every day, every day when possible. So let's just get right to it here. We've got 10 people here, 6 thumbs up. Thank you so much to those that have chosen to invest their time watching this live stream. I appreciate you. Let's just go ahead and get right to it. But let me reset the chat one time before I get to it so I make sure I didn't miss any messages. Sometimes. All right, we should be back live. Yes, Coach. We're a busy California folks. We can't help. No, I understand. I'll share more about my thoughts as I get into the topic here, California Forward Outdoors. And thank you again for being here. And I'm going to say all this respectfully. And I think by the time I'm done with this show, most reasonable people will understand where I'm coming from and what I'm saying. Hey, Lewis Fuller, welcome to the show. Lewis says, good afternoon, Eli. And my lady respectfully, maturely, and professionally says, lunch was great, by the way. That's great. Who bought lunch? Was it you or was it the other person, babe? Curious to know. Also, are you back home yet or are you heading back? Are you on your way back? So let's get right to it. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, the Walking with Purpose live edition, live from the San Francisco Bay Trail here in beautiful Redwood City, California. It's about 76 to 77 degrees. The weather is nice. It's not too windy, so hopefully you can hear me okay. This is episode number 306. Episode number 306. 306 of these. About to get in the books. And the topic today is using social media as a business versus personal versus a combination of both. I think I kind of butchered that. Let me say that again. The topic today is using social media as a business versus personal versus a combo of both. So let me first of all come at this from a YouTube perspective, and then I'll come at it as an overall social media perspective. I've been on social media since it came out, probably almost 20 years ago. I've been on Facebook, not right when it came out, but not too long afterwards. I got on Facebook in 2008. I think that's when my lady got on it as well. And same thing with LinkedIn and Twitter and several other popular social media sites. And a lot of people were saying back then, oh, I'm not going to get on social media. I don't want to put my whole life out there to the world. I want to keep, my things offline. You can't trust, what happens online once it goes out there. You can't take it back, yada, yada, yada. I heard everything in the book, right? And I'm not discrediting what anyone was saying because they're absolutely right regarding once you put something out on social media, you can never take it back. And I'll share more about that in a little bit. I have tons of experience regarding this. I used to use social media to promote my in-person networking events I used to run through my organization that I still run, but it's run online now, the Genuine Networking Association, or GNA for short, which is a registered trademark. In case you haven't been following me for a while, my registered trademark is back and active. I used to use Facebook to create the events. I used to use Facebook group pages. I still kind of do, but not as much. But all my members, had over 5,000 members from all over Northern California. They were in the, Genuine Networking Association, GNA Mastermind group page. It still exists. And there's still a decent amount of members in there, but, some people have dwindled off over the years since we no longer run in-person networking events. Now, the Genuine Networking Association, or GNA for short, is my parent company that I'm the president, founder, and owner of, and Coach Eli is a subsidiary of the GNA. Let's just call it GNA for short. So I've been using social media for a very long time. And I will tell you, until I became a full-time YouTube content creator about 5 years ago, I had no idea what to expect. Once you become a digital public figure, especially on YouTube, that's one of the most interesting and challenging things you're going to encounter. And no one ever realizes it or expects it till they go through it. There's absolutely no way to prepare for it unless you know someone that's gone through it and they can prepare you before you come out. Just like my lady. Before she came out on my channel, now she hasn't been put up publicly. She just uses her voice and not her real name, and doesn't show an image of her. Eventually we'll get to that point. But, before she even came out at that level and started connecting with some of the people I've been working with behind the scenes, I prepped her for this for about 8 months, 7.5 to 8 months. And it still took a toll on her. But she's risen above it, And because of how well I prepped her, she's in a really good place now and very happy and ready to rock and roll and move forward. And she totally understands how the game is played out here sometimes. But today I'm here to share with you folks, some things that, maybe I've been struggling with, or other people I've associated with that I care for have been struggling to understand. And since we're talking about YouTube, first of all, what is the difference of using YouTube as a business, for personal usage, or for both? So on YouTube, there are three, in my opinion, there are three different types of people on the platform. This is totally generalizing, but this is the best way you can generalize it, okay? There are people out here like me that run their YouTube channel as a business. We are a for-profit business, and we use YouTube to create and share our content in regards to our business. We're a for-profit business. So there are creators like me that run it as a business. Then there are other creators that run their YouTube channels as more of a hobby. People that do it on their spare time, and if they make a little extra money doing it as a side hustle, no big deal. If their channel grows or they make any money at all or make a ton of money, doesn't matter to them because they're doing it more as a hobby, right? So in essence, they're not going to, those people are, I'm not saying they're not good creators and their content isn't good, but what I'm saying is they typically have a day job or make their primary income from another source outside of YouTube. So they're not going to take their YouTube channel or channels as seriously as someone like me that runs my YouTube channels as a business. And then last but not least, there are consumers of content. They don't ever create any content on YouTube, but they consume content on YouTube. Now, both creators, whether you're running your YouTube channel as a business or as a hobby, both those types of creators are also consumers. Because I don't know of any YouTubers out here, whether you run your channels as a business or as a hobby, that don't consume other people's content. That's part of, being out here on YouTube. But when I talk about, non-creating consumers, I'm talking about people that just come out here on this platform just to consume the content, learn how to fix something, how to do something, and get some motivation through personal development, etc., right? So that's basically how YouTube works, right? Now, let me see here. Lewis says, yes, I can hear you good. Just gave you a like. Thank you, Lewis. Let me reset the chat and come right back because I think some messages got stuck. I'll be right back, folks. All right, we're back live. We are back live. Wow, lots of cars on the 101 today. Lots of traffic. You know what, babe? This is a normal day, normal business day on the 101. Oh man. So, what is the difference between a content creator that creates content as a business compared to a content creator that creates content for fun as a hobby on their spare time, right? And should we even throw in just the people that consume content? Nah, that's irrelevant here because I don't know of anyone that doesn't consume content on YouTube or social media, at least to a certain extent. So what I'm here to explain right now is the difference between content creators, because this is something that many people I've associated with and maybe you associated with don't understand, because you may be running your channel as a business and they may be running their channels as a hobby, right? Now, again, I'm not catering this to any one specific person. So California Ford Outdoors or anyone else, that has experienced this with me in the past. I'm not here to bash you. I'm not here to attack you. I'm here to just talk about it at a broad-based level because this has happened to me many times. And this is something that, as a business owner, slows down my productivity and affects me from moving forward and moving my business forward. And there's a reason why this happens. I'll share why it happens, okay? So for me, as a business YouTuber and content creator, I schedule things in advance. When I'm creating content for myself, I think about topics weeks in advance. Now, I may create a stream or record a piece of topic on any given day, but I have a list of topics. I brainstorm, I watch and listen to other content. And I've got a list of topics that I'll never run out. I've also got my lady, who's now my business partner. She's gotten involved. She sends me topics all the damn time, which is great. Thank you for that, babe. Appreciate that. And so when it comes to creating content or even scheduling interviews, one of the things I enjoy doing is collaborating with other YouTubers out here and interviewing these people on my channel, and maybe even going on an interview, to their channel. Typically, when I interview someone on my channel, they'll invite me for an interview on their channel. It's kind of how it works. And if you're both good people and good YouTubers and you're truly collaborating, you should do that for each other. It's just the right thing to do. It's the nice thing to do, the courteous thing to do, right? And I like to schedule my interviews typically at least a few days in advance or a week in advance if possible, right? But lately, I'd say over the last several years, every time I've tried to schedule an interview, the people will say, yeah, I'm interested. Yeah, let's do it on this day, or I'm free any day the rest of this week, right? Yeah, right? Well, how about you give me a day and time? Let's set it in stone. Well, reach out to me. Okay. But we'll do it. Let's do it on Tuesday, right? Okay. So what happens? You follow up with the person. Now, I'm not saying this is the case with everyone, but with most situations like this, you follow up with them the day before because, if someone's not going to confirm with you that they're still on for the interview 24 hours in advance, then that means they've changed their mind, they've forgotten, they really weren't that interested, they just, were saying, yeah, I'll do the interview just to appease you, right? That's why follow-up is very, very important. And I always follow up with people 24 hours in advance. And if I don't hear from them, within the next 2-3 hours, once I followed up with them 24 hours in advance after we had previously scheduled an interview, then I basically canceled the interview. Because in the past, I've scheduled interviews and I'm about to go live, got an audience of people waiting, and I don't hear from the person. And then I've got to cancel the interview, and now my audience is like, what the fuck's going on, right? That's what it causes. It causes, it causes chaos. It causes confusion. It doesn't make me look good. It makes me look like I can't, keep my interviews, and I'm not able to bond and connect and schedule things with people where they're going to stick to their word and show up. It makes me look bad. It also makes the other person look bad. And in many cases, in the past, I've called out these people publicly on YouTube, which was stupid, was very immature of me. I admit that. But yeah, it was really frustrating at first until I learned how to handle it better, right? But that's what's happening with people that are running their YouTube channels as a hobby, right? People that run their YouTube channels as a hobby are not going to take it as seriously as someone who runs it as a business. They're not going to prioritize an interview that they've already agreed to do. They're going to be wishy-washy. They're going to be nice, because people that do this as a hobby also typically come out on YouTube and use it as an outlet and make friends, right? So they want to be nice to you and respond to you and appease you, right? But what they're not realizing when they're doing that, especially if it's with somebody like me that's running my channel as a business, they're actually affecting my workflow. And this is with no disrespect. I'm not here to attack anyone or criticize anyone, but that's what's been happening to me, and I'm sure it's happened to many other people out here on the platform that run their channel as a business. Now, some people may ask me, well, Eli, why don't you focus more on connecting with and working with, other YouTubers that run their channel as a business? I've been trying to do that. But here's the thing. Here's the difficulty of that. I'm still considered a small channel, even though this channel has over 6K subs. I'm still considered a small channel. And most people that I could collaborate with are much larger than me and have other collaborators or other collaborations with much larger creators. So it's really difficult. It's very difficult to even get these people's attention, let alone arrange an interview with them, right? So it's one of those things where, for a small YouTuber like me with 6K subs on this channel, it's one of those points where I have to decide and make a fine balance. Do I continue to try to connect with other larger YouTube channels that are running their channels as a business? Do I still try to connect with people that are, using YouTube more as a hobby or doing YouTube more as a hobby? It's a tough thing to balance out. I'm looking to work with anyone, whether you're doing YouTube as a hobby or as a business. As long as you have a couple of things. Number one, you have something of value to bring to the table that both of our audience would benefit from. And number two, you respect and value my time as much as you would want me to respect and value your time, right? That's it. That's all it takes. Just those two things. But most people that I've connected with and, tried to arrange things with, at least over the past couple of years, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, and I'm not attacking anyone. I'm not upset. I'm just saying it's been a waste of my time. And these people have not taken my time and feelings into consideration the same way they would want their time and feelings taken into consideration, right? And that's why, like this happen, I don't get... All right, we're back. Anyway, I'm sorry, I had to take care of something for a second. Babe, you had no idea, but let me just put it to you this way. I know you had no idea, but let me just put it to you this way. I know everybody. And you'll figure it out eventually. You've done a lot better, but you'll figure out the rest. So I got cut off in the same spot I got cut off yesterday. There must be something in the air around that area right there, because I got cut off on walking on the way back. Okay, I'll be right back, folks. Yeah, sometimes the chat freezing. Thank you, babe. Sometimes the chat keeps freezing. So I have to keep resetting in order for me to be able to do certain things. I'm just waiting. There's this woman that's walking back on the trail. I'm going to give her some space to walk on by. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I was saying, but it's very important, folks, that you value other people's time and you respect other people's feelings, wants, and needs in the same ways that you would want your time and feelings, wants, and needs respected as well. And that is the problem that I just see with many people nowadays. You know, and maybe it has a lot to do with we're overwhelmed on social media. Some of us are working a day job, right? Some of us are using social media for different things. And there's a lot more to talk about this topic as I head to the observation deck and then turn around. There's so much more to talk about it. I'm going to use Facebook also as an example. I've kind of talked about this before in the past, but it's been a while. And I wanted to put it all together in one show. But yeah, you know, out here on YouTube, folks, you know, a lot of people use this platform as an outlet. They come out here to pass the time. They come out here to cure the blues for whatever reason. If a void is missing, that's another thing people do out here on YouTube. They come out here to fill their emotional voids. And quite frankly, I'm going to be real honest with you folks. Us folks that are running our channels as a business are not here to fill the voids of people's emotional needs through entertainment, through drama and entertainment. We're here to provide products and services that can help better your lives or change your lives. Those are the types of products that I provide, right? And especially with people that I'm going to work with at a professional level, whether you're using YouTube as a business or a hobby. You know, I expect you folks to be professional, respectful, and mature. And have a level of understanding. And, you know, not necessarily come out here looking to work with people just to fill an emotional void or need, right? I want people, I'm going to only speak for myself now. I want to work with people that, you know, take, you know, their business or whatever they're trying to accomplish, they take it seriously. And they want to grow it. And they want to use my network to expand the good message that you have to get it further out there. And in essence, you know, same thing for me on the flip side by collaborating with you, right? It should be a mutually beneficial two-way street. And, you know, sometimes I wish I would have come out here on YouTube 3 or 4 years before I did, or 5 years before I did, because YouTube back then had a lot less drama. There wasn't, you know, the live streaming panel aspect yet that has now created more drama, right? Which, in my opinion, has diluted, you know, the great aspects of this platform. All this crazy drama, this is what people tune into. And then there are people that claim to be like, oh, I'm a good person and, you know, I just want to live a drama-free life. But no, you're feeding in the drama all day, every day, even though your channel wasn't that initially. Because why? Because you get more attention and you're making a decent amount of money. Well, let's see how long that lasts. And let's see how long it is before you get removed from the YouTube Partner Program. And let's see, after that, after getting removed from the YouTube Partner Program, how long your channel's still around before you get shut down for a terms of service violation, right? So that's what you're kind of dealing with. And so mentioning YouTube, those are some things right there that will help you folks better understand and distinguish the different types of creators on here, or the different types of people that use YouTube. Once again, before we move forward, you have content creators like me that use YouTube as a business or run our YouTube channels as a business. Then you have other content creators that run their YouTube channels as more of a hobby. And then you have just everyday consumers of content, or content consumers that have never created any content on YouTube or social media. Coming up here and take a little bit of a break. And there's that plane again, that loud plane. Fortunately for me, I wasn't over the flight path, so it wasn't as loud, but it's still pretty loud. Babe, you heard what's still going on with my fiber line, right? We're not going to be doing a live stream on Coach Eli 2 tonight. We're going to have to push everything back to tomorrow. And okay, babe, thank you. Your message just popped up. Thank you for that, babe. And babe, when I'm done with this stream, I'm gonna eat and take a little bit of a nap, and then we can talk for like an hour or so later tonight, around 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and then go to bed early so we can get, you know what I'm thinking, babe? Maybe we'll do 3 pieces of content tomorrow to make up for today. Maybe you and I can do a show early in the morning, and then I'll do my walk, and then we could maybe do a nightcap. Maybe I'll do a nightcap by myself, or if you're still up for it, we can do a second show on Coach Eli 2 tomorrow night. How does that sound to you? And you look at this view here. You tell me from this view. I can picture us here, babe. I'm going to have to bring you out here and walk this long side with you, because you and I have walked to the other side. And this side is much more amazing than the other side. But it's about 1.75 miles to get to the end of this side from the beginning of the trail. She's like, yeah. Are you driving, babe, or are you home? But see, babe, I can just picture us being right here on this deck, looking at the beautiful water, the beautiful scenery, and not even having to say a word and be happy, right? That's true love and happiness. That's 2 people truly in love and loving and respecting and appreciating each other. And before I get back to the next part of the topic, which we're going to be discussing Facebook and Facebook privacy settings and the different types of creators on Facebook, or we won't even call them creators on Facebook. We call them users. I'll call them more so users, Facebook users, right? Because that's what we are. Facebook was created to connect real people using their real name. Unlike on Google and YouTube, people can make up any damn name they want and have ungodly amounts of accounts to troll people anonymously. How pathetic is that? It's one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, there are some updates to the Sifu Smo Dion story, and I'm not gonna go public on it unless he wants to talk about it, or maybe him and his lady want to come and talk about it on Coach Eli 2. But yeah, all I can say is this, is that, I completely understand where he's coming from and where she's coming from. And Dion, if you're watching, man, reach out to us. Let us know. We don't have to talk about it publicly. If you do, we can. You've already put some of it out there publicly. Or talk about it on your channel. Bring me on your channel if you want, and we'll talk about it. But I'll be honest, man, like I was in the private chat last night, I'm going to give it to you raw and real. I give it to people raw and real. Here's the thing. I'm not here to harm anyone or attack anyone. But how in the world are people ever going to learn what's really going on with them and learn how to work through it if you don't directly call them out on what's really going on? Would you rather be appeased so your fifis don't get hurt, or would you rather find a solution to the problem? That's the problem I have with people nowadays. People nowadays, and this is the shit, baby. You and I were talking about this last week, and I was even talking about this years ago when I first heard about it through my ex-girlfriend Dana. You were talking with me about participation trophies. Nowadays, you get a damn trophy just for showing up. You can finish in the last place and get a damn trophy, right? Now I get the point of this. They want to, make everyone feel special, and, they want to make everyone feel like, hey, you know what, you gave it your best shot, and that's all that really matters. Well, sure, just showing up is great in itself, but why not strive to win? Why not strive to be victorious? That doesn't mean that you have to be a winner that rubs it in the faces of the losers. But this is the problem nowadays. Why, last night I created a new term, and it's LMS. And my lady did a hashtag in the chat on Coach Eli 2 last night, hashtag LMS, Lazy Millennial Syndrome. I created Lazy Millennial Syndrome last night, right? And these participation trophies are basically saying, we're all winners, whether we win or lose. Well, yes, I understand the figure of speech, but that doesn't push these kids to strive to become better, right? We all want to strive to become better, but when we get participation trophies, it's almost like we don't have to try and we still win, right? We don't have to do shit and we still win. That's the problem nowadays. Tell me I'm wrong. That's the damn problem. Let me reset the chat here. My lady's driving. I'll be right back, folks. All right, we are back live. We're back live. Hopefully I don't get cut off at the same spot I did on this part of the trail. I'm about to hit that same part. If I get cut off, folks, I will be right back. So let's continue. Okay, other social media aspects. Using social media as a business versus personal versus a combination of both. And this more so comes into play on Facebook and Twitter. YouTube, yeah, it can come into play too. I do bring my lady on my channel. And we do share a lot of our personal stuff, but here's the thing. The type of content I create and my lady creates and we create together is based off of our personal experiences. That's what gives us our credibility. That's, what we enjoy doing is helping people become better and learn to work through challenges that we had to work through by using our past failures and mistakes and experiences, right? But let's talk about Facebook and how do people use Facebook? I only got on Facebook initially because I was running a networking organization. And it was a great way to network with people. I never ever thought I was going to just start posting my whole life story on Facebook. Well, lo and behold, I used to do that, right? I used to do that. I got an account in '08, and there were some Facebook was still fairly new back then. It was just becoming more enhanced. They were adding sections where you could create event pages and invite your friends to these events. They created the Facebook fan pages, which are now known as Facebook business pages, to promote your business. They created group pages. And I was like, shit, this is great. I can connect with all these people. You can see how many mutual friends you have with people before you connect with them. So it would bring them more credibility that they were a good person to connect with. I'm like, shit, this is great, right? Now, I've always used Facebook more for business purposes, but I've also used it for personal purposes too, because everyone has a personal Facebook account. That's how, that's your base account. Your personal account is your base account, and you use that personal account to create business pages, group pages, use Facebook Messenger for private messages and phone calls. It's all based off of your personal account that you have to create before you can do anything else. Now, 7 thumbs up. Thank you so much, folks. Please like this stream. Whether you're here live or on the replay, please share it on your community tabs. Share it out on social media to people you feel would get great value from this type of content. And please like, share, and subscribe, not only here on my main channel, Coach Eli, Elias Melas, but also my other channel, Coach Eli 2 Uncensored Live Streams. Nightbot sharing the link to Coach Eli 2 Uncensored Live Streams every 7 minutes, or just go to youtube.com/Coach Eli Uncensored. So, I use Facebook. Now, I don't use it as much as I used to, and I'll tell you why. But I still use Facebook more so for business purposes. Even though I did put, some personal things in the past, family things with my mother, my brother, and past ex-girlfriends, but I no longer do that. I no longer do that. You know why? I no longer do that. And I used to have every posting publicly available, whether you were friends with me or not, because I was like, fuck, I don't care. I don't care who knows about my life. I have a good life. I'm a happy person, right? But then I started creating content full-time on YouTube over 5 years ago. And these trolls and haters that were creating content off of me and selling my content to their audience were now going back years and years and years and getting pictures and looking at my Facebook and just making content. They were making content on me all day, every day. Now, there was nothing bad about what was on there, but the fact that they were just, going to my Facebook and sharing my stuff because it would give people a good laugh, because there was an audience of people back then that just doesn't like life coaches or, good people like me, that anything that these creators would put out about me, past or present, these people would just get entertained and pay these creators donations. It was pretty crazy. So I ended up years ago converting all of my content to friends only, and a lot of it I even put to only me, which is private, right? So on Facebook, you've got many different privacy settings, and I suggest that you use them based on what suits you the best, based on, whether you're a public figure or not. If you're using Facebook and you're a YouTuber or you're a public figure that people know, and you have lots of trolls and haters and harassers, you've got to try to protect your content as best as possible and only target your content to certain people, right? But I take it one step further. This is the golden rule. If you're going to learn one thing from this entire stream, learn this. Regardless of your privacy setting, even if you upload something private only to yourself, which I don't know why you would do that. Maybe use the platform as storage, but that's stupid. There are plenty of other options nowadays to do that. But even if you're going to upload something to Facebook and put it to only me, you have to assume that the whole world will eventually see it. Because even though it's private, it's still on Facebook servers, and anyone at Facebook with access can see it, right? Now, here's another one. Let's just say that you've got 4,000 plus friends like I do on Facebook. And let's say you put out content to friends only, right? And let's say you want to put out a piece of content that you don't want trolls and haters to see, or you don't want the whole world to see, just your friends. Would it still be a good idea to share it to your 4,000 friends, or however many you have? My suggestion would be, if you are not okay with that going public to the entire world, don't even share it with just your friends, because what can your friends do? They can flip on you on a dime. And sometimes people do that just to get off on it. It's stupid, but they do it, right? Who's to say that your haters won't go down your friends list, find your friends, and ask them to send you a screenshot of your latest postings, right? I am home in the house. Welcome home, babe. Well, you're at your place. Awesome. The bottom line is this. Never, ever, ever post anything on social media, on any social media site. Never upload any video, put out any pictures, or write anything that you wouldn't want the whole world to see, regardless of your privacy settings. I've been saying that for years and years and years, even before I came on YouTube, when I was running in-person networking events, and we were using Facebook and Twitter and other platforms to promote our events. I was always saying the same thing, because some things that were sent privately amongst some of my group members reached other people, and guess what? It creates chaos. If you talk shit about me, no, okay. Now you can't even talk with your leaders, because a lot of my leaders that were running some of my locations known as chapters, they were leaking out certain information I told them to keep private to regular members. And so at that point, it got to the point of where, unless I was with them in person, or, I wasn't concerned whether the whole world would see what I'm saying or putting out there or not, I just wouldn't put it out there. That's the secret, folks. Do not put anything out on social media, regardless of the privacy setting, that you wouldn't want the whole world to see, okay? And here's the thing. I'll give you an example. Sometimes some crazy people out here on YouTube, they'll send nudes of themselves to other people, right? And next thing you know, a year later, those nudes resurface to other people behind the scenes, or sometimes they're put on a YouTube channel, even though it violates the terms of service. Sometimes these people don't care. They just risk it because to them it's worth having their channel shut down to do something stupid like that, right? But whose fault really is it that those nudes got out there? Is it the person that you gave the nudes to, or is it your fault for giving them the nudes? You see, you're in control of your own actions, folks. And if you never want that kind of stuff to go public, then why put it out there or give it to anyone in the first place? That's exactly what I taught my lady, who learned that lesson the hard way several weeks ago. She was connected with some people, and basically I told her, hey, be careful with what you say, because anything you say will eventually at one point become public. And because she's such a good person, even though she had that warning from me and knew that could happen, she never felt that could happen. She just didn't want to think that people could betray her kindness and trust in that way, or pretend to be kind and trusting to her. But yeah, she learned her lesson the hard way, just like I did, just like many of us do. That's why now, you know, regardless of who I talk with, whether it's publicly on YouTube, on another social media site, or privately behind the scenes, there are people that record every conversation that you have on the phone, or through a VoIP service like Facebook Messenger phone, right? Or Facebook Messenger allows you to create these things called voice messages, also known as voice notes. You send those voice notes, right? And whenever you send anyone those voice notes, you have to assume at some point they're going to make it on YouTube or some public platform, and someone's going to be dissecting it. Someone's going to be chopping it up, spinning it out of context. You have to expect all these things. You have to expect all these things, folks. And it's not that the average, everyday, decent person would do something like this, because it's pretty stupid. You have to understand, there are some people, many people nowadays that do behave this way because they're unhappy within themselves, and they use it as their form of entertainment. They use it as their form of content creating. And, you know, it sucks when you first get wrapped into it and don't realize what's just happened. But once it happens to you once, like, you know, when people started recording me on private calls and stuff, I learned my lesson. I just no longer will say anything, even on a private phone call, to people from YouTube and stuff, for example, that I wouldn't be okay with going public. Basically, what I'm saying is that anything that I say with somebody on a private call, even from YouTube contacts, I'd have no problem going public. We learned that the hard way, right, babe? I would expect that if I were still in high school. Well, baby, some people never mature past the age of 16 or 17, right? Right? Everyone is different. You would figure, you know, grown-ass people in their, you know, let's say mid to late 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s would be mature and act mature. But that's not the case with all of them. There are several people on this platform in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that act less mature than some people I know in their teens and 20s. And here's the thing, babe and everyone else. You know, to some people, social media is used as a game, as a form of entertainment, as a form of just trying to get a reaction from anyone. Right? And as much as I can understand the concept of it, do I agree with it? And do I feel that it is normal for grown-ass people to do this type of stuff? No, but I understand it. And I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon, if ever. So I'm here to help people better understand and identify these situations, so when it's happening to them, they go into it with a proactive approach, and they don't have to deal with everything I dealt with or you dealt with, babe. Now, what you dealt with, babe, was a small taste of what I've experienced over the last 5 years. But because I was, you know, so experienced, because I dealt with it in a much greater way, I learned from it to the point of where I was able to teach you and prep you enough. So when it did happen the first time, you were able to identify it. And even though, yeah, you trusted some people with certain things and they put them out publicly. You didn't let it get to you. You didn't get triggered. You didn't react, right? And I'm proud of you. You're a strong woman, babe. Like, I'll tell you this, most women in that position would have been triggered, would have reacted, right? But not you. And if you want to share with us in the chat, babe, how did you get so strong? What kept you from reacting? How did you learn to just let this stuff go? Is it because of your past experiences? You've dealt with so much drama that you knew it was drama and you're like, screw this. I'm not going to add more, gasoline onto the fire. Funniest part, the men attacked like most bitches would. Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I've got to say this. A lot of the men that I've encountered out here on YouTube or social media, I'm not just YouTube, but other parts of social media, they act more feminized than women do. Like, a lot of the things they do are things that a scorned woman would do. Like, men typically would not feed in the drama this way or behave this way, right? I can understand women doing it to a certain extent because that's part of their normal nature, but men that do this, it's really sad and pathetic. It's just ridiculous, But like I said, it's up to you as an individual what you want to put out. Whatever you put out, whether it be on a social media platform, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or if you're connected with other creators in the group behind the scenes, whatever you share with them, always take into consideration that whatever you share is going to end up public at some point. Always assume at some point it will end up public, and don't put out or say anything that you'd be unhappy of it going public. And then, there are people out there, babe, that they've done this to me for years. They try to pin and pit people against each other. They try to break up relationships between men and women or friendships, right? And, people try to do that to us, right? And the thing is, it was never going to happen. No matter what was said or done. Like, I know who my woman is. I love my woman. And I know even a lot of the things that she said behind the scenes that were put out publicly, I'm not offended by it. I'm not upset by it. Those aren't things that, she hadn't told me, when we're together or on the phone, privately. And you have to also take into consideration that a lot of things that were put out on her were taken way out of context, were edited. And the funny thing is, most people, the funny thing is, babe, most people knew that a lot of that stuff was edited and taken way out of context. So you folks have to learn to protect yourselves, right? Especially if you're on social media running a business. Because if you're just out here, personally, it may not affect you as much unless people know where you work. Then they might try to get you fired by sharing your postings. That's another problem, right? If you're working for a major corporation or someone else besides yourself, every little piece of content you put out on social media that could lead back to your name can and will affect your job and employment. Even though it shouldn't, it can and will affect it. Oh, this woman just walked out on the trail from the side, and now she's walking my direction, and she's walking at the speed of where if I kept walking my normal speed, I would be eventually catching her and passing her. That's a slow, leisurely pace. I mean, I'm going to wait for her to get ahead a little bit so that way I won't catch her and give a little space so I can do the show. Now, I'm not dealing with PUSSYASS men anymore. Wow. That is a front propeller. Wow. That's a cool plane. All right, let's get going here. Folks, please get your questions, comments, and concerns in the chat. I'm only going to be doing this side of the trail today and then taking the rest of the night off because, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, my fiber line's been having some issues, and AT&T is coming tomorrow between 12 and 4 Pacific to fix the issue. I hope they get there closer to 12 because I really don't need my fiber line to be intermittent for that much longer. Who knows? When I get home, it might just fix itself. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I think one of the techs was installing fiber somewhere else and it crossed my line somehow and it affected me. Like out of the blue, something happened. And my internet's not completely out. It's just intermittent. It works for like 20 minutes and it goes down for like 10. And then it comes back for 20 and goes down for like 10. So what that's telling me is there's some technician out there doing something. Maybe the main junction box in the area is getting maintenance, or they, like I said, they crossed my line with someone else's that they're just installing. I'll ask the technician tomorrow what happened and I'll update you folks. I bet my line was crossed with someone else's because I've had absolutely no issues. It hasn't gone down once like in over a year. Anyway, let me reset the chat, folks. I'll be right back. All right. All right, we're back. We are back. Welcome back, folks. Again, get your questions, comments, concerns in the chat. Going to be going off the air probably in about 10 to 12 minutes. I'm getting closer to the end of the trail here. It's a nice day. It's probably about 72 degrees right now. It's not too hot, not too cold, light breeze. Feels amazing. So folks, I want you to understand that there are some people, a good amount of people that are using social media for business. And those people, like me, you know, we're not looking to get involved with any drama. We're not looking to waste our time on people that are wishy-washy. We're looking for, you know, good, decent, down-to-earth, trustworthy, and reputable people and consistent people. And people that value others' time as much as they want their time valued. We're looking to collaborate with those types of people to create greatness together. You know, I'm looking to collaborate with people that may share a common interest or two. We don't have to have everything in common, but, you know, I'm a life coach. There's nothing off the table when it comes to my content because life and life coaching involves all aspects of life, personally and professionally. So I'm sure there's, you know, at least one or two different ways or things that any person on the planet could talk about with me in a constructive way, and we could both benefit from it, right? But if we're going to do it, let's arrange it. Let's schedule it in advance, a week in advance. Hey, Eli, I'd love to be on your show. I'd love to be a guest on your show. We could talk about this. I'll get back to you and say, okay, when are you free next week? What's your schedule like? When are you available? Are you open? Now I got to start saying, are you open to scheduling this a week out? And will you be there? Because I will follow up with you the day before. Will you be there if we schedule it out a week from this Friday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, right? And people that value your platform and value what you have and what you're able to do will make the effort. I also started realizing something here too. And I do understand this. I'm going to give you folks a comparison right now that's really, really going to call everyone out, whether I love you or not, right? Even if I love you, and don't take it too personal, but it's the truth, right? I bet you if I had 100,000 subscribers or more, that I'd have far less of a flake rate for my interviews than I do now with 6K subs. I'm going to repeat that one more time. I bet if I had 100K, 100 plus K, 100,000 plus or more subscribers, the majority of people that have flaked out on me with 6,000 subscribers or when I had less would not flake out. Why? Because they would see it as a leveraging opportunity to leverage 100,000 subs. That's another thing you have to deal with as a smaller YouTuber. You're not big enough to appear like you're that valuable where if somebody flakes out on you, they're the ones that are going to be missing out. People take smaller YouTubers for granted because of that single aspect alone. It's stupid. Because what they don't realize is what I'm capable of doing for them, even with only 6K subs. And what they don't realize is that I don't plan on staying at 6K subs. I'll be at 50K, 100K subs one day. And when I get there, I'm going to remember the people that made effort for me when I had 6K subs, not just when I have 100K subs. You folks never think about that shit until it's too late. And that's why you always treat people fairly and equally regardless of their status on or in any aspect of their life, regardless of how much money they make, regardless of how many followers they have on social media, regardless of anything. Because the moment that you favor people or dismiss people just because their following is not big enough for you, when their following does become big enough and you reach back out to them, we're going to remember you. And all we're going to do is ignore you, and in our heads we're going to say, well, it's kind of funny how now you're all of a sudden on my jock when I have 100K subs. When I had 6K subs, you flaked out on me all the damn time. You didn't take me seriously. You took me for granted. And that point in your head, and I'll try to say it as professionally as possible, which is what I'm trying to say. At that point in your head, you're saying, sit and spin, mofo. That's what you're saying, right? You don't have to stoop down to their level and actually say it, but in your head, you could think, sit and spin, mofo, right? And when you keep it to yourself in your head, you don't look bad publicly, and you also don't further trigger these people to come back at you. You just know your worth deep within. And that's what matters the most to me, and that's what should matter the most to you, what you feel your worth, your self-worth is deep within. We're just about to exit the trail, folks. as much as I am unhappy about my fiber line not working properly today, I'm kind of glad it's down at the same time, because I'm going to relax and rest tonight and briefly talk with my lady. Babe, we're going to talk around 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Maybe a little sooner. I'll text you after I eat dinner and take a bit of a nap. So if you're still there, let me know. I'm sure you got that when I said it earlier. Such a beautiful day. Haven't missed a day of walking. Since when? Since Sunday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 5 days. Some people entering the trail. All right, folks, get your final questions, comments, and concerns in the chat. I'm going to reset the chat in just a second. Respond to the final few chat messages if there are any, and then go off the air and enjoy the rest of the night off. Give me a second here. I'll be right back. All right. We're back live. We're back live. No new messages. Want to thank you all for being here today. Hope you learned something new regarding the many various ways to use social media and a common misunderstanding regarding people that use social media for business instead of, just pleasure. Oh, I forgot to mention one more thing. I'll mention it quickly. What if you use social media for business and pleasure? The answer is simple. I'll share this right before I go off the air. I almost forgot one of the most important things. If you're running your social media as a business, you're going to have some type of a personal presence. I used to have that, but then they started trolling my lady, and I wasn't prepared on how to handle it back then, which is why my lady has not been put out publicly yet. But at some point she will come out publicly when I further prepare her for it. She's learning more, and we're also doing it the right way. We've spoken with each other's family members, every family member, right? I've also shared with my lady how to keep her employment private and stuff like that. Even if she does come out publicly at some point, which I'm sure she will, there are ways to keep where you're employed from becoming public knowledge, because the trolls will try to get you fired. They will come at your immediate family, your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, uncles, cousins. They will attack your social media and your friends. And if you are prepared and understand this, and you forewarn all your friends and they know about all this, guess what? It'd be a waste of time for these trolls to even try anything once, someone becomes publicly known, like my lady will at some point. So, do I feel that a social media personal presence is important as part of having a business presence, and how do they intermingle? They do intermingle, right? Because if you're running a business like I am, a life coaching business or whatever business, but especially a business like mine, do you think that if I had a crappy lady that went all over social media and talked shit about me, do you think that that would bring value to my business, or do you think that would destroy my business? Think about that, right? So your personal social media can tremendously affect your business social media. They go hand in hand, but together, if you have a grip on those things together, like my lady and I do, we're unstoppable. We've dialed into this so greatly, and we've prepared for this so greatly to the point of where nothing anyone says or does will faze us, right? When we have that type of relationship personally, it brings even more value to our professional stuff that we do online and even in the real world too. And that's where I'm going to wrap up this stream here today at 86 minutes. So we're at an hour and 26 minutes. Again, folks, no show on Coach Eli 2 tonight. I'm hoping my fiber line just fixes itself, but regardless, there'll be no show because I can't trust that it'll go down even if it stays up for a couple of hours. I'm not going to do another stream until AT&T comes and checks everything out. They may have to replace the optical network terminal. That's what it is. ONT, optical network terminal. It's this little box they put in your place that they bring in the fiber line to, and from that box an Ethernet cable comes out, goes into your router, and then that's what gives your router the fiber line internet to go through your Wi-Fi or through other Ethernet ports, which is what I'm trying to say. If you use Ethernet like I do to connect my laptop when I stream. All right, folks, have yourselves a good one. See you all next time tomorrow, and as always, be good to each other.